Welcome to Bravo and Brava, episode number 8 of the Italian Americans in Hollywood podcast series. I'm Daley Giacopella, and beside me is my co-host, Sadie Bruni.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Today we're diving into the life and career of the incredible Anne Bancroft.
Yeah.
She's an icon who, gave us unforgettable performances both on stage and screen. I mean, who could forget her as Mrs. Robinson in The Graduate?
A truly iconic role, for sure. But what's so fascinating about Bancroft is that while The Graduate brought her immense fame, she was actually quite conflicted about its impact on her career. She worried it overshadowed her other work, made it harder for her to be seen as the versatile actress she truly was.
So she wasn't just chasing fame. She was driven by a deeper artistic ambition. She wanted to be challenged to push boundaries. And The Graduate, with all its success, almost became a kind of gilded cage for her.
Precisely. She didn't want to be defined by one role. She craved those complex characters, the ones that made audiences think and feel. And she wasn't afraid to delve into difficult emotions, explore the darker sides of human nature.
And speaking of defying expectations, let's not forget that behind the Hollywood name, Anne Bancroft, was a woman born Anna Maria Louisa Italiano right here in the Bronx. That's a far cry from the glamorous image she projected on screen.
It speaks volumes about the time and the industry. Imagine being told your name, your heritage is somehow not right for Hollywood. It's a stark reminder of the prejudices Italian Americans and so many other immigrant groups faced back then.
It's incredible to think she was essentially told to shed a part of herself to succeed. And while she did change her name, she never truly abandoned her roots. You can see echoes of her Italian-American upbringing and the strength and resilience of her characters that fire in her performances.
There's a realness and authenticity to her work that comes from that grounding. She brought her whole self to the screen, even if the name Italiano wasn't on the marquee.
So she's born in the Bronx in 1931. Parents are hardworking Italian immigrants, and she grows up immersed in the vibrant culture of the Belmont neighborhood. This is the Bronx's Italy, right?
Right. And that environment with its strong family ties and community spirit definitely shaped her worldview. You can almost see it as the foundation upon which she built her remarkable career.
Okay, so we've got this young woman with talent and ambition burning bright. What happens next? Did she just walk onto a Hollywood set?
Not quite. Bancroft honed her craft through rigorous training. She studied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and what's crucial here at the Actors Studio under the legendary Lee Strasberg. Talk about immersing herself in the world of method acting.
Strasberg, the champion of emotional truth in acting. That's got to be where she developed that incredible ability to completely inhabit her roles, right?
Absolutely. His method, focused on drawing from personal experience and exploring the depths of a character's psyche, was a perfect match for Bancroft's intense, almost fearless approach to acting.
And this foundation led to her early work in television, right?
Yes, she appeared in over 50 television productions throughout her career. It may not have been the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, but it gave her valuable experience, allowed her to experiment, to really refine her skills.
Guess who Bancroft shared the screen with in her very first film? In 1952, she debuted in Don't Bother to Knock. You won't believe this, Marilyn Monroe. What a way to kick off a film career. Two future icons sharing the same space. I bet that was a whirlwind experience.
Imagine the energy on that set. But even with Monroe's star power, Bancroft more than held her own.
Of course. But it was her portrayal of Annie Sullivan in The Miracle Worker that truly launched her into a different stratosphere. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress in 1962.
And get this, she couldn't even accept the award in person. Bancroft was performing on Broadway at the time, so Joan Crawford accepted it on her behalf. A pretty incredible moment, right?
That's wild. Talk about dedication to her craft. She chose live theater over the Hollywood spotlight. If you're enjoying this, please subscribe for daily podcasts.
It's clear that Bancroft's heart belonged to both stage and screen. The theater, with its immediacy, its direct connection to the audience, was always a major force in her life.
And speaking of powerful forces, let's talk about The Graduate, which arrived in 1967. The role of Mrs. Robinson, this magnetic, complex, older woman, it became synonymous with Bancroft.
And while she was phenomenal in the role, let's not forget, she was only 6 years older than Dustin Hoffman, who played her younger lover, and 8 years older than the actress playing her daughter. That's some acting prowess right there. But as we discussed, the success of The Graduate was a double-edged sword for her.
Yeah, that character, as iconic as she is, kind of eclipsed the full breadth of Bancroft's talent. And we're going to talk about that more right after this.
It's almost as if Mrs. Robinson became this cultural phenomenon that kind of overshadowed the artist behind the role. A bit of a shame because Bancroft's filmography is full of gems that showcase her incredible range.
Right. She wasn't content to be typecast. She actively sought roles that challenged her, pushed her out of her comfort zone.
The Pumpkin Eater,
Yeah.
where she played a woman struggling in a troubled marriage, or Agnes of God, a film that grapples with faith and doubt in such a profound way.
And let's not forget 84 Charing Cross Road, this beautiful, heartwarming story about the connection between a writer and a bookseller across the Atlantic. It's a testament to her ability to find depth and nuance in even the most seemingly simple stories. See, this is what I love about exploring Bancroft's career. It's a constant reminder that she was so much more than just one iconic role. She was a master of her craft, always pushing herself to explore the complexities of the human experience.
And she wasn't just an actress, she directed and wrote the screenplay for Fatso in 1980, starring Dom DeLuise. Talk about a creative force. She wasn't satisfied with just performing. She wanted to tell stories from behind the camera as well.
It shows a real commitment to her art, a desire to have a hand in the whole creative process.
And that commitment shines through in everything she did. It's there in her collaborations with Mel Brooks, her husband. Their partnership was a real testament to the power of mutual respect and artistic synergy.
Well, their relationship was a Hollywood fairy tale for sure. They married in '64, and she became a vital part of his creative process. She even had a major influence on his decision to adapt The Producers and Young Frankenstein into those smash hit musicals. Can you imagine the dinner table conversations at their house?
Must have been quite a mix of wit and creative brilliance. And let's not forget their son, Max Brooks. He followed in their footsteps, becoming a successful author and screenwriter. Talk about a family with storytelling in their DNA.
Absolutely. Talent clearly runs deep in that family. And Bancroft's talent wasn't limited to film, was it?
Okay.
She kept returning to the stage throughout her career, winning 2 Tony Awards along the way.
The theater was her first love, you could say. It allowed her to connect with the audience in a raw, immediate way. And she was brilliant at it, commanding the stage with that same intensity she brought to the screen.
So we have this woman who conquered Hollywood, won every major award, and yet never forgot her roots, never stopped pushing herself artistically. What an incredible legacy.
And she continued working well into the later years of her career, appearing in film and television throughout the 90s and early 2000s. She even made a memorable appearance on Curb Your Enthusiasm in 2004.
That's right. It showed her versatility, her willingness to embrace different genres and styles. Her final on-screen role was actually voicing Empress Sadessa in the animated movie Delgo. Sadly, it was released posthumously in 2008 and dedicated to her memory.
It's a poignant reminder that she was working right up until the end, still exploring new creative avenues. And speaking of poignant, Bancroft passed away from uterine cancer in 2005 at the age of 73. It was a huge loss for the entertainment world.
It was. But her work continues to inspire us, to challenge us, to make us think and feel.
What's so striking about Bancroft is that she wasn't just technically brilliant. She had this incredible depth of emotion, this ability to convey vulnerability and strength simultaneously. It's what made her characters so relatable, even when they were flawed or made questionable choices.
It's that authenticity, that rawness that sets her apart. She wasn't afraid to show the messiness of human nature, the contradictions that make us who we are.
And it's why, even today, her performances resonate so deeply. We see ourselves in her characters, in their struggles and triumphs. It's a testament to her enduring power as an actress.
Thinking about her body of work, what would you say was her most impactful role?
It's tough to choose just one, but her performance as Annie Sullivan in The Miracle Worker is truly exceptional. The sheer determination, the compassion she brought to that role is breathtaking. It's a story about breaking down barriers, about communication and human connection, and Bancroft embodies those themes with such power.
I agree that film stays with you. And it's fascinating how she brought that same intensity to all her roles, whether it was a dramatic tour de force or a comedic turn. She always gave it her all.
And her television work deserves recognition as well. Her Emmy-winning performance in Deep in My Heart, where she played a woman who gave up her son for adoption, is incredibly moving.
She had a knack for finding the heart of a story, for making us connect with characters on a deeply personal level. It's clear that she wasn't just chasing accolades. She was drawn to stories that mattered, to characters who had something to say about the human condition.
And through her performances, she gave a voice to those stories and characters, making them resonate with audiences on a deeply personal level. Her legacy extends beyond her individual performances. She paved the way for other Italian-American actors, showing that it was possible to succeed in Hollywood while staying true to your heritage.
She was a role model not just for her talent, but for her courage and her commitment to her roots. She reclaimed her Italian identity, even if she did so under a different name. She did it with grace and dignity, becoming an inspiration for generations of actors to come.
It's important to remember that her journey wasn't without its challenges. She faced prejudice, had to fight for the roles she wanted, and navigate an industry that wasn't always welcoming to those who didn't fit the mold.
But she persevered, didn't she? She used those challenges to fuel her fire, to hone her craft, and to become the extraordinary artist we remember today.
And her story is a reminder that talent and determination can overcome adversity, that sometimes you have to fight for your dreams even when the odds are stacked against you. It's also a reminder that we should celebrate the diversity of voices in the arts, that we need to hear stories from all backgrounds and perspectives.
It's really inspiring. And you know what else strikes me is that with all the success, all the awards, she never lost sight of her roots. It's that Bronx, that Italian-American spirit, It shines through in everything she did.
Oh, absolutely. There's that authenticity. You can really feel it in her performances. It
Right.
connects with audiences on such a deep level.
It's what makes her work timeless. We recognize ourselves in her characters, in their struggles, their triumphs. The human experience really transcends time and place.
Yeah, and I think it circles back to that idea of, staying true to yourself, to where you came from, no matter how far you travel in life.
For our listeners who are maybe just discovering Anne Bancroft, what would you recommend as a good starting point? What's the must-see film to really appreciate her talent?
I always recommend The Miracle Worker. It's a powerful film, really a masterpiece. Her performance is phenomenal. And of course, The Graduate is a must-see too, even if it's just to understand the cultural impact it had and how Bancroft navigated all that.
And don't stop there. Go explore some of her lesser-known films too. The Pumpkin Eater, Agnes of God, 84 Charing Cross Road. You'll be amazed by her versatility, her ability to just disappear into a role.
And if you're a theater enthusiast, seek out some recordings of her stage performances. There's a different kind of energy there, a real raw charisma that's captivating.
So much to discover. So much to appreciate Anne Bancroft. A Bronx girl who conquered Hollywood without ever compromising who she was. Her story is a testament to the power of talent, hard work, and a healthy dose of that Italian fire.
Her legacy is a reminder that one person can make a difference in the world, through their art, through their activism, and their commitment to staying true to themselves.
Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe to Bravo and Brava and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of our daily podcasts on Italian Americans. In Hollywood, ciao.